Hi guys, I recently covered a video with the FV4202 being driven by Jack 1011 Edwards, and that's the tier 10 British medium tank. And I figured, you know what, I've got a couple of replays that were submitted by Tonza 11, one in the Centurion, the tier 8 British medium, and one in the Centurion 7-1, the tier 9 British medium. So I thought I'd cover the tier 8, tier 9 and tier 10 British medium tanks on the channel. So here we go. We've got Tonza, as I say, in a Centurion. He's in a 46%er playing solo on Sand River. And here we go. He's top tier, which is always nice.
Let's go.
And the Centurion is a tank I did keep. I actually prefer playing the Carnarvon, the tier 8 British heavy. I think the Carnarvon and the Centurion play very, very similarly to each other. They both have a really nice 20-pounder, similar engines, similar turret armor. Carnarvon's is a little bit better, but basically they're support tanks. You don't really want to use the Centurion on the front line. You want to get its really good DPM, its accuracy, and its aim time into use as a second line tank, and almost play it like an American tank. Both the Centurion and the Centurion 7-1 both play really well hull down. Now, I did say I kept the Centurion. I don't play it very often because I do prefer the Carnarvon. The problem with the Centurion, at least when I was playing it, was that it was basically an ammo rack on tracks. I found that whenever I was playing the Centurion, I'd get ammo racked maybe 2, even 3 times a game. It didn't matter how many repair kits I had, but you could see the accuracy, you can see the aim time, you can see the speed, 6.75 reload for Tonza. And he's already done 712 damage against that T-34. But, yeah, I think when I get to the FV4202, I think I will probably end up selling the Centurion, even though I like it. Simply because, as I say, you can have great games in it, but it just tends to get ammo racked so easily. So now there's a KV-3 advancing. And again, Tonza is using his tank, much like an American tank. He's poking. There we go. Hull down, giving the enemy just his turret to shoot at, and the turret armor on the Centurion is quite good. Unfortunately, doesn't do any damage on that shot. That shot went a little bit high. But Tonza's just going to continue working here. Gets in the... So it's obvious who Artie is focusing on. Nice shot on the side of the turret. Oh, and both Artie are focusing on Tonza. Thankfully, he hasn't lost that much health. And he moves forward, gets another shot into the KV-3. KV-3 gets taken out. Now, Tonza hasn't gotten any kills yet, but he's on 1800 damage. And there's Artie. Artie is still focused on Tonza. Side of a turret on a Tiger 2. Again, a lovely shot. Didn't have much to aim at, but you can take shots like that in the Centurion. The aim time and accuracy are that good. So, Tiger 2 gets taken out before Tonza can reload. But we're on 2.1k damage now. Tonza's team are advancing. But I think this game is a perfect showcase on how to do well in a Centurion. I know a lot of players can struggle in this tank because it is classified as a medium tank, but it just doesn't have the speed or the maneuverability to play it like a traditional medium tank. You can't get into early positions because of a slow top speed, and you can't circle enemy tanks to death. You lack the alpha damage. And I would guess that that shot went in. That would seem to be a well-aimed shot. And again, Tonza doesn't want to be in the front line. Artie was focusing on him. So he is playing primarily as a support tank. So he's been splashed twice by Artie. Thankfully they didn't do too much damage, and thankfully they didn't ammo rack him. But if you're going to be spending any amount of time in a Centurion... Oh, not much to aim at this T-25 AT. Not sure if that shot went in. I can't remember how much health the T-25 was on before Tonza took a blind shot. But as I was saying, if you are going to be spending a lot of time in the Centurion, I really would recommend maybe a wet ammo rack as equipment. Safe stowage as a skill on your crew members. Because I've never been in a tank that gets ammo racked as much as this. But I still do like it, just don't play it very often. Again, not much to aim at on this T-28 prototype. Shot goes a little bit high. So 2.1k damage. Nashorn is retreating. No shots, he's behind a dip. Oh, lovely shot on the move on the T-25 AT. And again, look at that aim time. Lovely shot on the M41. And Tonza is moving in on this Nashorn and T-28 prototype. Oh, unlucky, so unlucky. So he's going to work on the T-28 prototype. T-28 is focused on the Borsig. T-28 gets taken out. And you can see, sometimes the alpha damage can hurt you. Only 222 damage on that shot. Which meant that the Nashorn was able to take out the Borsig. But there's no escaping. No escaping the Centurion. T-43 pins him in the side, and then RT gets a shot into him. So he's taken his first significant damage now. And strange to see the Lorraine there. But the GW Panther takes him out. Now, unfortunately, there's an E25 capping, and there's no one left to stop him. This T-43, who was firing gold, is approaching. And unfortunately, shot goes a little bit low. So this is one of these situations where it's safer to cap. The enemy E25 could have started capping. Nothing to aim at the M41. M12 takes out the T-43. But unfortunately, the M12 is in trouble. E25 decided not to cap. He's moving in. So, Tiger P takes out the M41. It's looking like a win. Just the E25 left on the enemy team. And he's nowhere near cap. Yep. So that's one of those situations where it is probably better to actually cap than try and kill the remaining enemy tanks. So while it may not have been the most exciting game, I think Tonza showed you the best way, at least in my opinion, to play the Centurion. It doesn't have the hull armor to play it on the front line. It needs to be played as a support tank. Tanza did that in this particular game, and he went hull down in it, which used his really good turret armor. He picked up a high caliber and Confederate for that game. 3,679 damage done with just the one kill, but he came top with 1,086 XP. In this game, Tanza is in his Centurion 7-1, and it plays very like the Centurion. The major difference is the hull armor is slightly better, the turret armor is slightly better, and it gets a much beefier gun. It gets 105mm as opposed to the 20-pounder, with 268mm of penetration and 390 alpha damage, but it still has pretty good aim time and pretty good accuracy. So you can use this tank a little bit further up. You don't need to play it quite as passively. So we are here on Windstorm. I was actually in this game. I'm platooned with Tanza in this particular game. It was a game that was played on stream. Unfortunately, CJC and myself, we don't have great games. I end up getting into a very bad position and getting flanked. Tanza really carries in this game, so here we go. So we are in Tier 9 tanks, in a Tier 9 game. It is a 38%er, some really experienced, some really good players on the enemy team. So initially, I want to head into town with CJC, and Tanza is going north. So, early spot on a Leopard PTA, it gets Tanza spotted. But you can see he's playing a lot more aggressively in the Centurion 7-1 than he did in the Centurion. The 7-1 has... its armor isn't fantastic, but it is much better than the Centurions. You can play it a little bit more aggressively. And there we go. Nice shot into the Patton. Don't know what the Patton was doing. The Patton was a very good player. Decided to poke that corner, even though Tanza had been spotted and should have known Tanza was there. So gets a nice shot into the beak on the IS-8. And you can see that the gun is much more punchy. Slower aim, or slower reload, 10.35 seconds, but it makes up for it with more alpha damage. So again, Tanza's being really aggressive. Suffers from gun depression problems. Readjusts. And very difficult shot to pen at that angle. It was going to be an automatic bounce. Maybe Tanza was trying for some track damage, but he's got a better reload than the IS-8. Just about. Gets quite lucky there. Gets a nice shot into the lower glacis on the IS-8. IS-8 bounces. And as I say, the armor on the 7-1 is a little bit better. So the Patton is ignoring Tanza yet again. And fires and misses on the move. So the E50 takes out the Patton, IS-8 takes out the enemy IS-8, and Tanza is being targeted by RT yet again. So in the meantime, very few enemy tanks seem to have come into town, and I'm relocating with CJC. So we're in town, but nothing seemed to be happening, so we came back over to help this flank. Tanza gets a nice shot, nice ram into the Leopard PTA. And SU-152 takes him out before Tanza can get a kill. So Tanza's up to 17, almost 1800 damage. Hasn't got any kills yet. Misses that shot on the object. There's an IS-2. Looking for shots. Oh, and an IS puts a lovely shot into Tanza. Tanza was at a really bad angle. reversing back up a slope. He basically flattened out his armor for the IS to pen him. So again, Tons has been aggressive, he's pushing, he's the furthest forward of all his tanks. CJC unfortunately has been taken out. So he pokes, gets a nice shot into the side of the T-54. And in the meantime, I left town because there weren't too many enemy tanks down there, and now there seem to have been lots of enemy tanks, so we've been flanked. I'm going back to try and cover spawn, but as you can see on the mini-map, I'm about to be flanked by a PZSFL. And Tons is poking, but he's getting spotted. There's a T-52, or T-25-2 that's now been spotted. So Tons pokes, gets a shot in, no idea whether or not it penetrated. He went stealth just before the shot landed. Oh, and that IS-2 fell back. So we're actually losing 5-7. So Tanza moves forward, he's bouncing shots. Gets another nice shot into the T-54. Who's the more dangerous tank? RT is missing. Another lovely shot in, 435 damage. So you would take 2 shots in the Centurion to do the same amount of alpha as the Centurion 7-1. So Tanza's trying to stay RT safe. And thankfully AMX 5100 takes out the T-54. This T-25-2 is hit again, so he was on low health. I think the blind shot may have gone in from Tanza. And the AMX 5100 takes him out. So our team are pulling it back. It's 7-8 in a 38%er. I'm still under pressure in the middle. But Tanza's working this side. He gets a lovely shot into the IS-3. We're being capped. And I've got 2 tanks moving in on me. So again, this tank, it's not the fastest, but it's fast enough to relocate. So the IS-3 was focused on me. I get a shot into him, but Tanza misses a shot on the move. And an IS-8 was waiting. So Tanza gets another shot into the gets a shot into the IS-3. There's an IS-8 who shot Tanza from spawn. I can't really go up after that IS-3 because of that IS-8 shooting from spawn, so there he is. Someone has spotted him. And someone gets a nice reset. So Tanza's come around this corner. He hasn't spotted the IS-3, but he has now just spotted an E-75. He gets spotted in return. And a lovely shot into the front of the IS-3. So Tanza's on almost 4,500 damage and hasn't gotten a kill yet. And lots of tanks advancing up the riverbed. But I've relocated, unfortunately. And Tanza's trying to get a position where he can get shots. There we go. Aims carefully, takes out the IS for his first kill of the game. Meanwhile, I'm trying to flank the IS and the IS-2. Or the IS-3 and the IS-2, I should say. But we've pulled it back. It is 11-11. So Tanza's looking for this E75. Unfortunately, the IS-3 takes out our RT. And as I was coming back to help, the IS-2 flanks me, takes me out. So now Tanza and RT are standing alone against 4 enemy tanks. Unfortunately, had to risk that shot before the IS-3 got into cover. Fired before being fully aimed. And you can see that Tanza's worried about this E75. E75 hasn't been spotted in quite some time. So Tanza was patient, waits for the IS-3 to advance, takes him out. And there's the E75. So E75 tracks Tanza. Tanza uses his repair kit. Takes out the E75 for kill number 3. He's up to 5.3k damage. Just the IS-2 and enemy RT left. And the IS-2 is on quite a lot of health, but he is 2 tiers lower than Tanza. So Tanza's biggest worry is RT. IS-2's just fired. Gets a nice shot into the back of the IS-2. And he's constantly moving, trying to force RT to miss. IS-2 is ignoring Tanza. I think the IS-2 wants the RT kill. So rather than chasing down the IS-2, Tanza decides to flank him. Unfortunately, he's not in time to save RT. Yep, IS-2 was waiting for him to come behind. And some lovely, lovely play. He outthought the enemy IS-2. Came from a direction the IS-2 was not expecting. Enemy RT's just missed his shot, so amazingly, Tanza has carried this game hard. It is 14-14, 38%er. And Tanza is on 6.1, almost 6.2k damage that we're aware of. So I'm suggesting that Tanza flank him and move in from the other side rather than driving straight down the AB lines. So we're going to speed it up. So Tanza's doing some flanking in his medium tank. He's going to come in against enemy RT from a direction the enemy RT is not expecting him from. And if it works, enemy RT will be pointed the wrong way. So there's only a minute left of this game. Tanza needs to kill this RT. No time to cap. So, what way is enemy RT going to be pointing? Away! He's looking the other direction, so Tanza gets a lovely shot. And this is it. This is going to be game over. 20 seconds left on the clock. And Tanza finishes with kill number 5. So a beautiful little game there from Tanza. He went up north on Windstorm. He basically dealt with a lot of the enemy mediums. Came back to defend when needed. Did some nice flanking and outmaneuvering towards the end of the game, and secured victory with the final kill with 20 seconds left on the clock. He picked up an ace tanker for that game, high caliber and Confederate. He did 6.6k damage, so the blind shot on the T25-2 didn't go in, but he finished up with 5 kills, 1633 XP. He fired 25 shots, 20 hits, and 20 penetrations. The gun on the 7-1 looks great. He spotted 1, damaged 11, destroyed 5, and even did nearly 2,000 assistance damage. He earned 48,000 credits for that game. It wasn't his first game of the day in the 7-1, but he did earn 2,449 XP with a premium account. Really, really nice game, Tanza. Congratulations. And thank you for sending those replays in. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.